12:37. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to eat. Welcome into Food Time, Chicago Radio's original cooking and dining show, the All Things Edible program, heard every Sunday at this time. And today on our Food Time program, we're doing some good old-fashioned barbecue. When we originally booked this segment, we thought the temperature might be somewhere above the freezing mark. We didn't think it would be so close to it as it is outside today. I mean, it's been barbecue weather. I've been out on my grill several times over the past week. I bet you have been too. We wanted to bring you, some tips. We talk about this fairly often, but, those of us that enjoy the grilling, we're always up for learning a new tip or two. Joining us to do that is Chef Dean Eliacostas, who is the chef at Real Urban Barbecue up in Highland Park. Chef Dean, nice to have you with us today. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Dean.
Just nice to have another Dean on the program, to tell you the truth.
That's a wonderful name, isn't it?
Not enough Deans in the world. We are far and few between. The fact that you get 2 Deans today for the price of 1 says something right there.
It's fantastic, fantastic.
So you have a thing going on for Father's Day. It's called the Kicking Ash, A-S-H, Kicking Ash Summer Grilling Series.
Yes, sir, we do.
Up at Real Urban Barbecue. Fred, first of all, before we talk about some tips, tell me what that is.
Well, we're offering 5 classes this summer. First one is on June 20th, and it's hands-on. We have the little baby Q Weber grills that are going to be out there. Everyone's going to have their own station, their own grill. We're also going to have a couple green eggs out there also.
Those are those awesome, the green eggs, those are those awesome kettles, right? I mean, those are like the Uber kettles.
They're fantastic. I mean, if you've never seen one, or if you've never cooked on one, you definitely got to come down for this class just to see some cooking on these things. They are phenomenal. It's an old Japanese style of cooking, but it's about 2 inches of ceramic, and the retention of heat on these things are ridiculous. You can cook 12, 14, 16 hours, virtually on 8 to 10 pounds of charcoal and maintain that same temperature, throughout the day.
Because even though it's burning up, it's there, instead of a thin piece of steel, I don't know what kind they use in traditional kettles, but this thing is like super thick. It's like a cast iron pan you may have in your home, like that kind of material almost.
Yeah, we have 2 different ones up in Highland Park. We have our extra large and our 2XL that you can see over there by the Central Square. The extra large weighs 250 pounds. Wow. The 2XL, which they just came out with about a year and a half ago, was 450 pounds.
Wow.
So these things, we're not messing around when we're talking about these green eggs and cooking on these things.
Those are formidable, yeah. I got to get somebody from the Green Egg Company to come on here and talk, because that is really the latest and greatest technology for grilling outside right now, isn't it?
It really is. If you're looking to do a low and slow, if you're doing pulled pork, brisket, ribs, especially for indirect cooking, it's fantastic. But to do you got to look at it, too, as like a wood-burning oven. I do flatbread pizzas on there all the time. Even steaks, you get that thing stoked up to 700, 800 degrees, and you put a steak on there. You could put the fattiest ribeye on there, Dean. Shut that lid. You will not get a flare-up. You will not get a flare-up. I have my Summit Weber grill also, but these green eggs are phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm going to make a note that we're going to get a hold of somebody from the Green Egg Company to talk about that. So you've got these are basically grilling classes that you're holding for much of the summertime.
Yeah, me and Jeff Shapiro had started this back in 2005 when we were at Carmichael Steakhouse. And, a lot of people that are coming in, everyone's at different levels, so we'll pick out 2 to 3 different proteins. But the way we set it up, it's almost like Top Chef in a sense, or Iron Chef, where we set up a beautiful pantry of all different fruits and vegetables and herbs and spices and vinegars and oils. So we go through the protein, we educate them about the protein, how to cook, indirect, how to cook direct, different flavor profiles. We'll show them how to break down chickens. We're going to show them how to break down whole tenderloins, how to prepare fish, where a lot of people are very nervous about, cooking fish on the grill. So, it's, like I said, I mean, you're slicing and dicing, There's definitely a few people who like to cut themselves, but
you're not really a chef until you do something like that.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Once you burn yourself a few times, you're all right.
Right. I'm shocked at how intimidating doing fish on the grill is to most people. I did a segment on WGN-TV a couple of weeks ago where I grilled some salmon because it was driving me crazy. People saying, I love salmon. I never do it on the grill. I'm too afraid to do seafood on the grill. So I did a segment on TV showing how incredibly simple it is. I don't think I've ever got so much email on anything of people, wanting the recipe or wanting me to repeat, to show them again because they could not believe how simple it was.
Fish is very simple. The biggest thing people say, how do I know when it's done? And yeah, there's certain fish that are, a little bit harder to grill, depending on the stability. Salmon, obviously, a very oily fish, a very sturdy fish, very easy to grill. There are some other fishes that are a little bit harder to grill, but the biggest thing is, degree of doneness, for a lot of people. And that's what these classes are about, and this is what we're, trying to promote, for these 5 classes over at Real Urban Barbecue. But they're so much fun. We have a great time with it. It's 3 hours of just grilling and, a lot of education, definitely a lot of education.
Yeah, that sounds great. Before we take a break real quick, what's your favorite fish to do on the grill? Favorite seafood on the grill?
Oh, I tell you what, I love salmon as long as it's not farm raised, as long as it's wild salmon. But I love Chilean Sea Bass. Chilean Sea Bass is probably one of my favorite. My kids love it. My daughter Grace and Sam, they eat that thing like it's going out of style.
Now, that's a fairly flaky fish though on the grill, right?
You know what? It is. But if you're cooking at a very high temperature, you're doing okay. So as long as you got that high temperature going and you're doing that kind of quick sear, 4, 5, 6 minutes each side, you're good to go.
Okay, so explain. Okay, I start off with a piece of the Chilean Sea Bass. Am I marinating? Am I doing anything to it first?
I always do a soy marinade with mine. Now, when you're cooking the fish, you got to look at the thickness that you're cooking it. Okay, so depending on how thick you cut it, I like to cut it maybe like 1.5 inches because, Dean, just like you said, it is somewhat of a flaky fish and it will fall apart. If it's too thick, now we got to keep it a little bit longer on the grill. Now people tend to burn it and to overcook it and or undercook it. Okay, so right. I usually cut it anywhere from, inch to 1.5 inches is perfect. And then, like I said, 3 to 4 minutes on each side. So what I like to do, I take I use a gluten-free soy sauce. I take fresh ginger.
Is that the tamari sauce that's the gluten-free?
There are different brands.
Okay.
Of the gluten-free, but my kids, I kind of watch the gluten intake with them. So I take a gluten-free soy. I take some fresh ginger. You can either chop it or take in your microplaner just to kind of grate it up real nice. Yeah. Some fresh garlic I toss in there. I also take a little bit of a hot chili pepper. I'm not chopping it up to put it inside there. Yeah. I'm just slicing it just to get a little bit of flavor. Throw some fresh cilantro in there, a little bit of lime juice, and just a touch of honey. Mix it up real nice. It just has to sit for like a couple hours in your fridge. And let me tell you, just a hint of salt and pepper on there. Toss it on the grill for 4 to 5 minutes each side, and you're good to go.
So you're saying so over a direct flame then, direct heating method?
I'm doing, yes. Yeah, for something like this, you want to do direct heat.
Okay, so in other words, then over the direct heat, it's like a searing and sealing, making it less likely to fall apart?
Yeah, indirect is more for slow cooking. Yeah. Where you're going to cook for, 2, 3, 4 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours like we do, inside the restaurants.
But what I was thinking was on the indirect and the slow method, though, that you slowly cook this fish, it sets up, and then you just flip it over, to kind of finish it up a little bit. You
can do that, but just the nature of that particular fish, especially the Chilean Sea Bass, because it's so light in flavor, it's nice to get that little bit of caramelization, get that crust on the outside of it.
Yeah.
So now you got that beautiful caramelization on the outside, and then on the inside you got this moist, beautiful piece of fish that almost has its own little sweetness to it.
It does. Chilean Sea Bass does have that very definitely. Are you oiling the grates before you put it down? Because usually it's in the flipping process where the seafood falls apart.
You want to make sure your grates are nice and clean. So, you always want to preheat, your grill. I like to preheat at least 30 minutes, clean them, I oil them. But even after I oil them, I wipe them down one more time, because a lot of times people will oil them, and then that residual oil will still be on that grate. And now when you put your fish on there, you know how you get that kind of splattery black kind of look on there?
Yeah.
And it kind of has an off flavor. So you want to re-clean your grates even after you oil them, just to kind of pick up that, that residue of that oil.
Okay, all right. I'm going to try that. Man, that marinade sounds amazing. Talking with Chef Dean Eliacostas today from Real Urban Barbecue in Highland Park. They're doing a special summer grilling series. This actually would be, Chef Dean, a great Father's Day gift for someone. Dads love being out on the grill. What do I get Dad, for Father's Day this year? Sign him up for some of these classes. A great idea.
Oh, yeah. The dads love this. I tell you what, like I said, when we started this back in 2005, for so many people, we would always sell out with people getting this present for, for their dads.
Good idea. Here is Jason on the phone line with a question, 312-981-7200. Jason, you're on WGN. Hello.
Yeah, so my question is, with the fish, I definitely steer away from grilling fish because I'm afraid I'm going to break it when I flip it. So is there a recommendation would you recommend those kind of baskets that press, so the meat is kind of already in a little grate where you can just flip over the grate without having it directly on the grill?
Be curious on your opinion on this, because I have a very definite opinion on these basket dealy things that you're talking about, Jason. Go ahead, Chef.
All right.
Jason, I'm not very much into the baskets. I'll be honest with you. Once again, if you start with a hot grill, and kind of, we know which way the grates go, and as long as you have a nice heavy-duty grate and you get that good sear, because the biggest problem is, why does it stick? One, just like we were talking about, we have to oil our grates, okay, because the metal is porous. It's kind of like a saute pan. If we don't heat it up and get it hot, and we don't put the oil on there and then re-wipe it down, when we put the fish on there, or any piece, it could even be a steak, that metal, the pores in that metal kind of absorb that. So we kind of almost want to, in a sense, kind of make it like a Teflon pan would be, okay? So as long as you're getting that good sear, okay, and as long as you have a fish spatula or some type of nice spatula that you can get underneath the fish, so imagine all the grates going parallel with each other, okay?
Yep.
That's kind of how you want to go underneath your fish. If you're that nervous where you are going to, let's say, break the fish apart, sometimes people try to move it around too much. You got to let it sit. You got to let it sear.
Got to let it set up, right?
Right. You got to let that caramelization happen. Now what you could do also, because, depending on the grill that you have, if you got, kind of that top level over there, a lot of times people will put it in foil. If you have a thicker piece of fish, you can do that. Okay, if it's salmon or let's say even walleye, if you want to do a quick sear on walleye, and let's say, hey, right next to it, nice and thick, squeeze some lemon in there, some white wine in there, some fresh garlic, some butter, some seasoning. So as you're searing your fish, that's getting nice and hot, okay? And let's say you don't want to finish it on there because you don't want to move it around too much because, that the walleye, it's very light and delicate. Now, man, you put that right in your foil, put that in your sauce, let it finish. You could put it on your top rack until you're done, and boom, now you have your sauce and your fish all in one.
Pretty delicious. I'm not a fan of those wire baskets that you're talking about, Jason. Almost everything that I've bought 2 or 3 of them, thinking it's the greatest invention ever. I've thrown away all of them. Unless you get such a tight squeeze on whatever you put in there, vegetables or fish, and it never is tight enough. The thing is flopping around all over the place anyway. It still busts into little pieces. And you want to talk about one of the most difficult things to clean afterwards. It's a pain in the neck. Pain in the neck. I agree with Chef Dean.
Yeah.
You get yourself a good fish spatula, so it's nice. It's thin. The metal is thin, so you can get underneath it easily, and it's long. The actual spatula itself, so you can pretty much take the entire piece of fish and flip it over in one motion. You get yourself a couple of those spatulas. How about it, Chef Dean?
Definitely.
And then you can just, flip the thing over. You kind of flip with one of them and kind of guide it with the other. You'll never have a problem again. Don't ever buy those baskets. Biggest waste of money. Believe me, I've wasted so much money on those.
So they are too good to be true because they look like they would work so easily, but I guess they don't.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when they're showing them, I mean, that's kind of the trick of TV. It's kind of like a garlic press. It doesn't really work that good.
Right.
Exactly.
One more quick question.
Just smash the garlic. It's all you got to do is smash it, and it does exactly the same thing. Jason, thank you for the call. Sue, hi, you're on WGN with Chef Dean from Real Urban Barbecue in Highland Park.
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I gave my son-in-law a present, a monetary present, and he was delighted, and he went out and bought a green grill, and I'm sorry I ever did it because I don't like the steaks or anything that comes off of it. He gave away using the charcoal, and I don't know whether it's the flavor I miss or what, but it just doesn't taste grilled to me anymore.
It doesn't taste grilled anymore?
No. It just tastes cooked.
Because it should taste more grilled, right, Chef Dean?
He was so excited about it. He had tasted, someone was demonstrating one, and I don't know. Go ahead. It's not me who needs the answer.
Maybe he needs to go to one of these classes at Real Urban Barbecue, so, to make sure that he was doing it the right way.
Well, he's in Indiana, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Maybe he needs to move to Highland Park.
Wouldn't we all?
That's true. That is true.
A lot will, depend on the temperature of your grill, too. The one thing about the green eggs, they're meant to be, the lids to be closed while you're cooking on them, okay? So kind of like I was talking earlier in the segment, when you're doing a steak on there, you really need to get it at a high temperature. 300, 400, even 500 is not going to do it. It needs to be in that 650 to 750 range.
Yeah, so it tastes like,
allow it to sear.
Right. So it tastes like it came from a great steakhouse. We're going to get somebody from the green. What's it called again? The green egg. The green egg. We're gonna get.
It looks brown, but it actually, what you said, he does put the lid on it, and to me, it looks brown on the outside, but it tastes steamed and it doesn't taste.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We'll dig into this a little bit more. We have about 1 minute left here. So, Brian, what's your question? And Dean, I'm going to need a quick answer. Go ahead.
You got it.
Go ahead, Brian.
My question was how to do rack of lamb on the grill, or how do you make a rack of lamb? Moreover.
Ooh, how to do a rack of lamb? Well, you can do it a couple different ways. You can either do it whole. Normally it's a 7/8 bone rack. Or what I like to do too, Brian, is to break them down individually and do the individual chops.
Yeah.
Just because the lamb is so fatty, you're going to get a lot of flare-ups. And I just do a very basic marinade, some fresh herbs, rosemary, garlic, thyme, olive oil, little hint of lemon in there. Rub it down. I like to let that sit overnight. A good dose of salt and pepper, and get that baby on the grill. But it's a little bit easier to do the single bones than it would be the whole rack. Unless you're doing it on the green egg. To do it on the green egg, then that's a little bit different story. You can do that indirect.
Yeah, a little easier to control if they're all individual. And believe me, don't ever question anybody named Eliacostas about the correct way to make a lamb. That's all I can tell you. You want to get more information on the Real Urban Barbecues summer grilling series that's going on. You got a phone number, got a website, something for us, Dean?
Yeah, everyone can hop on to www.realurbanbbq.com, and it'll have all the grilling information that you need. We do have 3 locations, Highland Park, Vernon Hills, and Oak Brook now, so come out and see us at one of our locations, and definitely come out to one of the classes.
Sounds great. Thank you for joining us. Great information today, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Dean. Take care.